To me, when I talk about a legacy versus a company or a house or a charity that I create, is am I leaving behind something that will be transformational? Anything you leave behind is a legacy. The question is, how meaningful is it and to whom? I leave a legacy behind, I leave homes, I can leave a charity behind, it has my name on it. Those are legacies. They're somewhat useful to people. It's also very useful to me. I've left my name behind, that's a legacy. What is a legacy I can leave behind that has the maximum value and is most meaningful to people after I've left? That has got to be a legacy which has disproportionate leverage. It has got to be a legacy which is a live, growing entity which has in many ways a life of its own, which is going to evolve in ways that I hadn't thought about. It will not be it's not a legacy that will just do what I want it to do. It'll be a legacy which may start with doing what was my vision, but which would evolve to the vision of those who come in and take it forward. So it has to be a legacy that will eventually become many people's legacy, not just mine. I think one of the things that most of us don't realize, and which is where an institute like this could help people, is to take somebody beyond themselves, shine a mirror, show them what they actually might consider doing, really expand their horizons in a way that on one's own people don't always do. I mean, I would have loved it. I can tell you, if 20 years ago I had somebody talking to me and saying, hey, this is what you would do. When I did my first company, because I was at that time running Tata Unisys, that was 1/3 of the software industry. We're talking many, many years ago, in 88, 89. But they were only $22 million. The whole industry was 40, 50 million. So when I started my company, what was my ambition? Hey, in 5 years' time, I'll be $25 million. And when that happened very quickly, way before 5 years, and I said, hey, so this was not a big enough vision. What's next? And you move it to the next and the next. But if I had been able to interact and understand some of it, I really think I may have done many things much earlier than I actually did. So I may have done things at 50, which I did at 60, and how much better that would have been. The reason I really love being involved in something like this is, for me, the most important thing right now is not actually to build one more thing. God's been kind, I've been lucky. And so I've been involved in building some really interesting institutions. I think now my leverage could much more be somehow passing this on. So if I can help other people also build similar, bigger, better institutions, leave bigger legacies behind, that to me is the most meaningful activity. The disproportionate impact for me now is not to build one more, but to see if I can work with a group of people and enable in the building of 10 more. And each of these people will go and build 10 more of their own. So instead of building one more institution, perhaps 100 would come up. That's disproportionate impact. For me, that's a far better legacy to leave than one more institution. I see what we're trying to do here is fundamentally different from coaching and even mentoring. Because in a lot of coaching, mentoring as well to some extent, what you're trying to do is to tell people what they should do or what they might do. What we want to do is simply expand those visions. We simply need to take our experiences and just put them out to be seen, not to guide people to follow that, but for them to understand what the interplays were, what happened, what changed. And they will find in that pattern their own painting. And that is what we need to do. So it has to be very different. We have to draw them out. We have to take people beyond themselves. But eventually, we are not trying, and we never should try and tell people what they should do. Certainly not, here's what I did, take it from me, this works. It's for them to decide whether they want to do something like that or not. But almost certainly the kind of people we're talking to will look at it and will pick a lot of lessons from it, a lot of learnings from it that we may not even intended for them to see.
Yes.
So this is, to my mind, a very different exercise. You're dealing with a different set of people. They're looking at different aspirations. We're not dealing with people who want to be better CEOs. My best hope is for people, wherever they work, whoever they are, is to be able to create and leave a legacy behind which has so much impact on the lives of people. That no matter what they have done in their lives, how successful they've been, how wealthy they are, that the fact that whatever they did is going to continue to evolve to higher and higher levels, even when they are not there. To me, that's a very exciting thought. I think the best hope that we should have for people who are crafting their legacy, whether we help them or they do it on their own, is that they think of leaving such a legacy behind, that whatever they've done in their lives, no matter how well they've done it, that after they're gone, it will continue to be done even better and even bigger. I mean, nothing would satisfy me more to know that when I'm not there, whatever it is that I did or I was doing that I thought was meaningful, that more of that is going to happen because of what I did. It's going to be even better. It'll be greater. Because there'll be enough people who are going to pick my legacy and make it their own. To me, that is the best that one can hope for. For those of us who are privileged, not only do we need to do enough for ourselves, we need to add value to society to make up for all the others who actually can't. It's very important. How do you do that is for each one of us to figure out in our own ways. My focus on entrepreneurship and creating vibrant entrepreneurial ecosystems is driven by the fact that I think the only way to solve this problem of the world, of creating wealth, creating employment, all the things that keep the poor poor, how do you fix that? Is really through creating new ventures. How do you do that? You need entrepreneurs. Governments do not create wealth. Good governments destroy wealth slowly. At the end of the day, you take places like India, you need 10 million jobs a year. Who is going to create that? Not big business, not government, but if you have 1 million entrepreneurs, they'll create those 10 million jobs. So eventually, when I say what legacy do I want to leave behind, it's a legacy of saying there's a lot of work I've been doing, all of them oriented in some ways to the growth of entrepreneurship, creating new ventures that create wealth, employment, improve people's quality of lives. That is a legacy you want to grow because it's going to make a change. And I think for most of us who are leaving legacies in some way or another, they all have to be around a way that we are creating a better balance in the world. Because at the end of the day, if we don't do that, this world as we know it will not survive.